Hello and welcome to TableTakes. My name is Marcus Mays, and I am joined by some absolutely wonderful people who we will get to know shortly. But first, let's tell you why we are here. This is TableTakes, tabletop news and talk, where we cover all of the latest and greatest things happening in tabletop and the adjacent gaming industry. So, before we get into those really cool, interesting headlines, let's touch base with some of our hosts. Bonsai, how are you doing today?
I'm actually doing great today. I have made the brave decision to no longer be a hermit and signed up for classes at my local YMCA to do like a lot of like little swimmer programs to make sure the little one doesn't drown and gymnastics and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna be an outside person. I don't know how I feel about it. I also have a date with one of my besties for this Saturday to actually like go to somewhere nice and
Ooh.
be outside. I don't know. It's I have a whole week plan of being outside and I don't know how I feel.
Well, what you're gonna do is
Ah!
afterwards, you take that whole week to just recover by not letting sunlight touch your skin at all.
Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds like legit pan. Legit.
Awesome, Bonds. Thank you so much for letting us know. We also have one of our regular fill-in hosts who is here joining us, and I'd like to shout out one of the coolest people I know. They are Anita. Would you like to tell us how you're doing this week?
I'm doing great this week. I've actually been diligently plugging away at a chainmail armor that's 3D printed. I've been building that
Ooh.
out for my partner, who's going to be in their best paladin shape, which I think is actually a pretty good segue if you want to toss it
To
over.
toss it over to one of our loveliest hosts around, Noir.
That's me. Hey, everybody. I'm Noah. Agabahide. I've had a pretty chill week. I got some exciting news that I'll be talking about someday in the future. Other than that, I've just been vibing. I played a one shot yesterday called Anarchy Goat. I played a goat named Jason Goatham. You get to pick your own skills and talents. So my skills were beekeeper, mechanic, and transporter. And my special power was crank, which was the ability to generate electricity.
We like to big shout out to Jason Statham for all he's done for us in this game. That sounds awesome. What is it? Goat Anarchy?
Yeah, it's Goat Anarchy. You've got three stats. You got ah, ba, and oops. Every time you do anything, you roll all three of them. If oops is the highest, things don't go well. But if your ah and your ba, beat out your. It's so weird to
I
say it like that.
I I
If it beats out your oops, things go the way you want it to.
this sounds cool. I actually just looked it up right now. This is neat. I am fascinated by this. Thank you for sharing that. That is
It's
Yeah,
wonderful.
incredible.
in our game, we went to Vegas. We that globe. We rolled it over and it destroyed Vegas, and then we just headbutted the Senate and the president, and we took over the United States of America.
And that's what all goats actually should be doing.
True.
I'm
I
saying
Truly.
y'all gotta step it up.
That is awesome, Noir. For me, I am just streaming and dreaming. I'm having a great time with these lovely folks at TableTakes and enjoying all of the great content on Gen Con TV. But it is time now that we have caught up with all of these lovely folks on your screen. It is time to get into the nitty gritty, the headlines, the releases, the news, games, everything. So, first off on our agenda, Anita, you have some news for us about 20 Sided Tavern, huh?
Yes, the
So,
20
actually, sorry, you
sided.
did some investigative
I did do some.
journalism for us.
I'm on the 20 Sided Tavern Discord, so I got a little bit of a heads up on this news. But the 20 Sided Tavern, we recently covered that they have acquired an official license from Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons. So I actually went to go see it. A few years back when they came through Chicago with my lovely partner, and we had an absolutely fantastic time. Um, but they've just announced that they're doing their off Broadway stage show in New York, and they've announced their cast for the 20 Sided Tavern. They've got, in addition to Daggle as our dungeon master and Sarah Davis Reynolds as our tavern keeper, we've added Tyler Noel Phoenix, Felix from Modern Family, as a fighter, Madeline Murphy as a mage. Madeline, I believe, was on the stage show that we went to, playing a mage as well. Diego Afsalinas as a rogue. RJ Christian and R. Alex Murray, Cassidy Sledge, as well as Alex Stamopoli. All of these are like top tier performers, and they're going to be bringing this madness to you. So 20 Sided Tavern sort of includes elements of pseudo augmented reality. There is a bit of audience buy-in and audience participation in that you can vote for different outcomes. There are giant dice that are rolled, and depending on little mini games also that take place with the audience, and depending on how well they do, they can either end with a TPK or they can defeat the villain of the day. It's an absolute blast. We had a really, really fun time when it was there, and tickets are on sale fairly shortly here. Official opening is Sunday, May 5th, with previews starting at Stage 42 in New York City on Friday, April 19th. So get your tickets.
Absolutely. This sounds so cool. And the concept that you as an audience, as the audience, are also acting as the player. So you get that crowd engagement as well as that. This is
Yeah.
all the polish. This looks gorgeous. I'm so jealous when you first brought that playbill up. I was so jealous that I missed my opportunity. But
The
it's cool that you can.
sets are incredible for it too, and the
Oh,
props are so good.
Oh, I think we're missing one of the key details here,
Oh
which
yeah,
is they also had TTRPG themed drinks
true.
wait. Okay. That
and
is.
cocktails that you can
Yeah.
get. So yeah, I got like a potion of heroism, which got me feeling heroic.
Hey.
And as also part, because the tavern portion of it comes into play, where if they roll a 1, they have to take a punishment shot.
Punishment
Oh,
shot.
of my lord!
It was Malort for one of them because she was from Chicago, but there's some of them it was vodka. But there's also if you also have to wear a hat of shame and take a punishment shot. If you succeed, you get to wear a crown of triumph and
Oh,
take a celebration shot.
This sounds very,
It's very
very
fun.
good.
It's very fun and very good. It's a good time. I highly recommend it.
Wonderful. That's some on the streets journalism from our team, our crack team of reporters here at TableTakes. Next up, we do have some unfortunate news. Very interesting news, though. Noir, would you like to lead us into this?
yeah. Here we go. So, first off, a big thank you to Chase Carter over at Rascal for giving us this story. And the story is that Baldur's Gate 3 developer isn't interested in being in another Hasbro show, or being another Hasbro show pony. Um, Larian Studios founder Sven Vinke shared harsh words for the publisher during 2023's Game Developer Conference on March 20th. Uh, quote, greed has been fucking this whole thing up for so long since I started, said the director of the Smash video game Baldur's Gate 3. It's always the quarterly profit. The only thing that matters are the numbers, and then you fire everybody, and the next year you say, I'm out of developers. And then you start hiring people again. And then you do acquisitions and then you put them in the same loop again. He's talking about the devastating waves of game industry layoffs that began last year and crashed directly into this one, affecting a staggering number of big and small companies alike. But he's likely also talking about Hasbro's Wizards of the Coast corporate owner and handler of Dungeons and Dragons brand, Svinky reasserted to IGN that Larian Studios would not develop any downloadable content or expansions for Baldur's Gate 3 before adding that the Belgian hitmaker would also not stick around to create Baldur's Gate 4. They're quoted as saying Larian staff were reportedly elated to discover a planned sequel would not go forward. This is a game that made them $90 million as of February. It's still one of the top trending games on Twitch. It's still very much in the public zeitgeist. And the fact that they have killed their golden goose because of in search of corporate profits just shows such a short-sighted and cold direction. I've made no allusions to the fact that I have not been a supporter of the way that Wizards has done things lately. Um, and to see that a developer that worked so closely with Wizards feels the same, is in one way validating, in another way heartbreaking. Um, because I love Baldur's Gate 3. It is easily one of the best games of all time across the board. I think it won almost every Game of the Year award that there was to win, and we're not getting another one because CEOs want their bonus. Like it just it doesn't make sense. And I think that the people at Hasbro and the people at Wizards are under the illusion that they can just slap D on something and it'll sell. And I truly think that there's going to be a wake up call when whatever developer they get to fill in the shoes of Larian struggles, because the secret sauce was that they cared about the community. They cared about the community so much that they're not doing Baldur's Gate 4. I don't think that whoever steps up at bat is going to have that same magic. But that's my thoughts on the matter. What do you all think?
I just wanted to say I was calculating a few things while we were talking about this. And since 2023, January 2023, over 12,000 people in the gaming industry have been laid off, working on most of these studios are from very successful studios working on very successful games. Just almost 3,000 of them since January. And this doesn't include Hasbro laying off, was it 1,100 employees right before Christmas? This was the one that directly affected
Yeah.
the other Hasbro games as well as Larian. This is this is in need of a wake up call for absolute certain. Like they need to let Larian this is Larian's at their peak right now. This is the best they are right now, and they are free agents. I better see some great game company snatch them up and give them the money to do whatever they want to do, because they're going to make a good game and they're going to make you some money.
I mean, Divinity 1 and 2, which are Larian's properties, are already outstanding games. Um, I personally would sell my soul for Larian to make a Pathfinder game, because there's
Ooh.
a lot there, or a Starfinder game.
Ooh.
But, I think that they're going to go back to doing their own thing. I think just from the sounds of what Sfinky is saying, it feels like working with Hasbro has kind of dimmed the magic, the excitement that they had for working with the brands that inspired them in the first place. And that that's the thing that hurts. It's that we all grew up inspired by D&D, and to finally make it to the point where you work alongside them only to find that it's just corporate greed. Yeah, I feel for the team at Larian. I thank them for the work that they've done and the magic that they've created and the things like it's so frustrating. Baldur's Gate 3 goes from level 1 to 12. There's so much more that they could do, but WotC
No.
shot the golden goose because they wanted more gold. So there you go.
You gotta hope
Yeah.
that eventually there's gonna be a wake up call for Wizards, especially when they keep letting go of really good and really talented people. It's sad in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
Well, yeah. In a lot of ways, yes, I see like the sadness of coming down for like WotC not creating these things, but it gives more opportunities, like some folks said in chat, that other people can develop things that aren't D&D like associated, but can still give you that fantasy roll and write feel. And that
Yeah.
this might be an opportunity for people to come up with those independents and maybe work with other folks. Like you said, develop a Pathfinder, develop newer independent games, and also something this has been like not just something that's been WotC, the gaming industry in general, like just me being a gamer from years now, it's always been a problem of people hiring, then letting go, hiring, then letting go. It's a thing. And also the consumerism, not just not blaming the consumers, but like the idea that we need to always have a new or a new version every year is very hard and not doesn't make the story quality and stuff like that. So it's the industry in general that still needs the big old shaky shake. But I see good news that maybe it's okay that they're not doing D&D, because then it gives them opportunities to explore other RPGs.
And like to reiterate something, I agree with you 100%, Bonsai. To reiterate too, like this is not like Hasbro or Wizard of the Coast said, actually, we're not going to use you. This is a big time power move from Larian saying, here's the IPs. We're done with this bull crap. We're going to go and do our own stuff. It is sad, but it is really cool to see a studio or the developer actually recognize their worth, because a lot of the times they're stuck either scared into silence or they just are trying to be professional and hope they get extra job. But Baldur's Gate was so massive, so successful. They're going to land on their feet, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like it seems like they're already on their feet and walking away from trouble. So I'm happy to
Absolutely.
hear that. Next up, we do have some more sales news. Bonsai, would you like to let us know what's been going on the last year?
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you to Milton Greep at ICV2 for this article. This is just in general, hey, for those friendly local gaming stores, guess what the quarter is? Hobby sales nudge up in 2023. So with most of quarter four, I'm sorry, folks, this is going to be a lot of like math and background news that we're going to be sharing here. With most of quarter four earnings out now, IBC2, of course, published a white paper on the latest sale figures for the hobby game market in 2023. Their estimates market-wide has gone up 1% in 2022. This is, of course, a lot of people saying, oh, it went like skyrocketed during the beginning of the pandemic. And now that, of course, like the decline after COVID, people are like, people are not going to be into board games. They're going to go out and do things. But it looks like now, instead of a decline, it's becoming a stabilized course. I think it was kind of eked out, some suspect, because of the major releases like the Lord of the Rings Magic set. Also, of course, this year being the D&D 50th anniversary, also picking up sales for a lot of friendly local gaming stores. This is my personal opinion about how these sales. I think that it is going to become a plateau. And we're not necessarily going to see a decline. We're just going to see a stabilization. I feel like they don't have anything ready for 2025, but they have stuff announced, of course, for 2026 with the new Universe Beyond sets coming out to entice folks in. But I feel like it is going to be, so how I'm going to say this is, in terms of business, they can project that they're going to make X in sales. So say we're going to go up 20% in sales. And if it only hits 15%, even though us as the consumer say, hey, look, a lot of people are buying this, because they didn't see it hit 20% and they only hit 15% increase, a lot of people are going to be like, I guess we're going to back out investors because it didn't make the projected profit. So this is a lot of math hyping in here, and it's a good little backup news, and it makes it good to know that the hobby is stable and not declining.
Yeah, Bonsai, thank you for making all of those numbers seem very interesting and smooth in my brain so I can actually comprehend them. You handled that really well. I would not. I looked at these numbers and I was like, So I'm glad that that's your headline. Thank you for covering that. This is pretty cool. You can see the graphic that was on the screen behind Bonsai. It shows, like, from that, like Bonsai was saying, the huge was it $600 million jump from 2020 to 2021.
Massive.
And
Yeah.
it is kind of plateauing, but it's still going up a little bit, so we can still get that trend moving in the right direction. This is really interesting. Anyone else have any thoughts on this?
It's very interesting to see how, because sales did have an absolute increase and spike during the pandemic. And it's interesting to see that this trend is still continuing upwards from, I think, even 10 years ago,
Yeah.
board gaming wasn't necessarily like a cool hobby. It started to slowly gain popularity. And it's very interesting to see this new trend, and more people playing games is great for the hobby.
Could not agree more. Next up, we have two legends colliding, a legendary game designer and a legendary mangaka. Anita, would you like to tell us about it?
Yes. Looks like publisher Bandai Namco is going to be releasing a new tactical card game based on Akira Toriyama's Sandland. This is actually coming to us from our friend Chase Carter over at Dicebreaker. It looks like Richard Garfield will help design a card game based on Sandland manga. The Sandland manga from late author Akira Toriyama. It's the tactical card game is going to adapt the one-volume graphic novel created by Toriyama, which is now actually an anime, I believe, on Hulu. You were mentioning.
Correct.
And it's Toriyama's most famous, obviously, for his work on Dragon Ball, Dr. Slump, and if you've played Chrono Trigger, all those cinematics. It's my favorite video game.
Same here.
And
Not that good.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Get this
Get
man
outta
off
here.
the stream. Get this man off the stream. The information is being kept very close to the chest because we're going to be waiting to hear more about this at Gen Con 2024. So they're not going to be selling any decks or other products until then. What we do know is that the main cast of protagonists and villains from the weekly Shonen Jump manga will help helm constructed decks as players compete one-on-one. These constructed decks are going to be sold in blind boxes that might contain one of 10 planned decks or patterns, as the official website calls them. It's very interesting to see that we'll be receiving a new card game based on the anime and based on the manga this close to Toriyama's passing, and it will be interesting to see what comes of it. But I'm going to throw it to the rest of you. What do you all think of Sandland getting an adaptation?
So Sandland for me was always the one of the Toriyamas that I never really visited until like a few years ago, where I was like, oh, it's a really short run. It's a really kind of interesting story, and I love Toriyama's art style anyway.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
So if you take a look at some of the cards that were available, like there's very limited, but it has a lot of the anime depictions from the new series.
Yeah.
With Richard Garfield, you have a name that is a certain amount of quality. So I'm interested in this. We had a Gen Con a couple of years ago. We dropped the One Piece card game. So I'm hoping I can get my hands on some of this Sandland business before Gen Con's over at 2024.
Heck yeah.
I do find it interesting. Well, I mean, I guess Pokemon is one of the examples, but anime going into just straight card game first before expanding to other parts of the board game industry. It seems like a lot of like projected pathways. If like, hey, you have a hit anime, make it into a card game, then it can expand to other things is kind of like a really cool trend. But I wonder if, like, I know we probably discussed this a little bit behind the scenes, but if there's a reason why they're being very close to the chest about the details, especially because the recent passing of Toriyama, maybe there's something in there. Maybe there were supposed to be more promotions with the actual creator. It's hard to say, and they had to scrap it because, being respectful.
Yeah, it's also possible that the actual game aspect of the is not like balanced and ready to be shown like really any of the information about it.
might
So that's
still be
also a
testing.
possibility. It is a strange time. I will give you that. I
Don't much
definitely
care
recommend.
for it.
Don't much-
Don't much care for it.
I'm just teasing.
Definitely, if you get a chance, if you like Toriyama's work, if you have a lot of love in your heart for Dragon Ball, Dragon Quest, Dr. Slump, any of those content, check out Sandland. It's on Hulu. It's on Disney Plus. It's not dubbed, but it's a pretty interesting show about a little devil boy, an old man trying to get water for the town and the devils, while the evil king is keeping all the water. It's the most Akira Toriyama stuff you've ever seen. It's great designs. Highly recommend. But moving on from this, there's another show that's based off of one of the talking points we're going to cover that I don't recommend. Noir, would you like to take this away?
Yeah. All right. So let's do this professionally first, and then we'll devolve into the rage fest that I'm gonna have. First off, shout out to Charlie Hall over at Polygon for giving us this news. Halo Flashpoint miniature game promises fast and fluid gameplay with its clever rule set. Since its reveal in early January, Halo fans have been eager for more information on Halo Flashpoint, a new miniature game from Mantic Games. On Friday, during the annual Adepticon War Gaming Convention in Schaumburg, Illinois, the British team delivered the goods. Not only do we know what the final product will look like, both painted and unpainted, but we also know quite a lot a bit about how it will play. So Halo Flashpoint is going to be a skirmish game, a miniature wargaming genre that's incredibly hot right now. There are a number of skirmish titles out now, like Star Wars Shatterpoint, Cyberpunk Combat Zone, Warhammer 40K Kill Team. But Flashpoint will only require a handful of miniatures to play, but unlike those other games, it won't require a ruler. That's because it uses a novel cube-based system at the core of another Mantic title, a skirmish game called Dead Zone. In Dead Zone, which has a free quick start rules on Mantic's website, cubes are used to measure out both movement and shooting. Meanwhile, cover is determined by true line of sight, meaning that all you need to do to get down to eye level with all you need to do is to get down to eye level with your miniature to properly see what it sees. Um, the 24-inch square arena board is divided into 8x8 grids, explained by Dan Mapleston, Mantic's strategic marketing manager, in an email. But as the game is played on more than just floor level, we refer to each space as a cube rather than a square to also allow for moving up and down between levels or sniping at enemies below you. All units are given a movement range measured in cubes, and players just count the cubes they need to move through to get to where they want to go. This sounds interesting. I have tried skirmish games. I love Kill Team. It's great. Um, I said cubes so many times. I was feeling like I was talking about parks and recreation. It's all about the codes. But I okay. All right. This could be fun. This could be great. I do like the price. The Recon Edition, which includes 8 pre-assembled miniatures in red and blue plastic, plus a smattering of terrain, is going to be $75. The Spartan Edition, which is $125, offers 16 Spartans, 4 Banished Elite models in gray, and various component upgrades. And of course, the Deluxe Terrain Set, which is $100, appears to include at least some components seen in the previous Dead Zone release. Um, I like it. I think I'm gonna need to try it out first. But the toxic fanboy in me wants Master Chief to stay in his lane. All right, listen. In video games, you're the super Spartan. You're the super marine. You're the super space marine. We'll give you that. But when you start talking about wargaming, you messing with the Astartes, the children of the Emperor of mankind. How dare you, sir? You can't even keep your helmet on your TV show, and you gonna try to with the Astartes?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I
Pick a
co-signed
real
everything
place.
you said right there. I also want to shout out that if you do want to try this and get your hand on this, it's actually not that bad of a price point.
It's a really nice
Yeah.
price point. I had
Yeah.
to call that out. That's especially to get yourself started. You can't go
Yeah.
wrong with that. But yeah, this game is gonna have to be fantastic to get me away from 40K. And I don't know how I feel about this cube thing. I haven't played Dead Zone. So, if the cubes work, it might just change things because I hate using my ruler, but I will.
Yeah,
If they make you, you will.
that's when you got to get those templates, the ones that you can smack down and be like, this is how far this goes, this is how far that goes. Templates, man, templates.
Yeah, there's templates
Also,
that come with Kill Team too. They just
Yeah.
go bloop
Ooh.
and bloop.
yeah. I will say though, in terms of Halo, it all harkens back to like you guys got to watch the YouTube fan made series where they just kind of did
Red
a
versus
meeting
blue?
Yeah, red versus
Yeah, red
blue.
versus blue. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, but with that is like, why can't we can have more than one type of space marine out there? I feel it. I expand the space marine universe, Throw some Doom in there. Why
Well,
not?
see, can we? I'm just looking for like an amalgamate game where we can have the Space Marines fight Master Chief and then a Doom monster of some kind. I okay, because
I mean, if you wanted the Doom guy Space Marine, you just need to get the Grey Knights from Warhammer 40K. The best. We out here.
if I can't play as a grunt, I'm not sure I'm going to play this game. I'm going to be real. I want to be one of those little grunts that don't do anything and they get shot and they run away. That is me as a person. Okay, that is who I am. Flailing my hands, and when you shoot my head, confetti comes out.
Oh.
This is real. This is interesting though. We did touch base about this when there was less information. So thank you, Noir, for re-upping us on this deal.
Yeah, no problem. I'll continue to follow the progress of Flashpoint, and I'll continue to be upset about it until I inevitably fall in love with it, and then I become its biggest fan. And nothing was wrong with it ever. I never said anything of the nature.
Nobody clipped this.
Sounds perfect, Noir. Next up, we have a very interesting how-to guide. We're gonna talk about a few things that is very near and dear to most of our hearts. Bonsai, would you like to tell us what you're thinking?
All right. Wait, hold on. Let me just pick up something really
sorry.
quick. Let me just Goblins! Are you ready? We're gonna talk about dice. Because we got dice. This is an opinion piece I decided to go ahead and do. We all like being dice goblins. I like being dice. Is there something wrong?
She didn't even tell us. She didn't even tell us that she was going to have this mess. She did not prep us for what we were going to experience. This is our live reaction.
But yes, I wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys on what are some people's favorite in their opinion pieces. This is Bonsai opinion piece of coming from me, Dice Goblin. I am Dice Goblin. But yes, for this, I just kind of want to discuss like in terms of like we all have dice. Well, majority of us have a lot of dice, and some of us want to go ahead and start doing our own little hoard of dice collections. But I kind of wanted to get some folks' opinion of what are their least favorite kind of dice versus their like favorite kind of dice that they're like into, and like what do you look for in dice? If you want, I could start it off.
I'm just going to say I'm very interested in this because I actually have no dice collection of my own. I only have enough to roll for some of the games that I am in and to ask my friends to borrow a few of their dice. I do not have any, so I am an aspiring dice goblin, and I'm so excited, Bonsai. Please tell me what you like about dice, and we'll go through. I'm going to listen, I'm going to absorb, and then by the end of this, I will have all of the knowledge I need to acquire the most massive set of dice you have ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah. Well, if you want quantity versus quality, but also get fun mystery bags, I always suggest to folks who are just getting started and just want to have a lot of dice because it's fun to have a lot of dice, get the rejected dice that a lot of these companies have. It sounds bad, like, oh, why they're rejected because they're not exactly cosmetically pretty. Like they have like an extra notch or something on there that it still rolls. Everything still works correctly. It's either been like a mismatch of like the colors came out wrong or something like that. There's nothing actually wrong with the dice. It's just not, you know how like there's
the manufacturer standard.
Yeah, it's not the manufactured standards. So that one you can always like get a good like $20 for like 2 pounds of dice.
Where can you give to go to a dice store to find that? How do you go about that?
Online, actually. You just go look up dice, rejected dice packs, and a lot of them would just be like, here, have them. We're gonna toss them anyways.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's always good to grab those. And you know, some of the dice that I love, and we can go ahead and go. Let's first do the love dice first before we go on the hate dice.
Oh, I like this.
I really, really like silicone dice. All right. They're like nice. Hold on. Let me see. You guys can't see it. They're nice little squishy dice. You don't have to worry about ruining anybody's tables. They're safe to like use. They float. And, you know, they're machine washable.
What? Machine washable dice?
You gotta worry about sanitation sometimes.
Was that a selling point, or did you happen to leave some in your pockets?
Pockets. But I mean,
Yes.
all dice are machine washable, but like this is just fun to have, and it's like nice little bouncy feel, and it adds more bounce to it. That's what I like in my dice, is like mathematics balance and bounciness.
And if someone on the other side of the table is like crossing you, you can just kind of time and bounce it right at them if you need to. I like that.
I like stone dice personally. I've got this very pretty set of Norse Foundry opaline dice. They're gorgeous. I love them. And they're very good. These ones roll very well for story. Let me just do the makeup preview transition here. There you go.
Oh, those are really pretty.
They're beautiful.
What did you say they're made of? They're opal? Opalescent?
Opaline, I believe.
Ooh,
the
so they're
dimensions
so
of
pretty.
that?
With the gold numbers, it looks like.
Yeah, they're very pretty.
Oh, that's
Show you the-
gorgeous. Oh, I can see it, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You get
Very
that
nice.
preview, that glamour
Ooh.
shot.
I suppose that makes it my turn then, huh?
Yes.
My buddy Gnome gave me a bunch of cool looking
Whoa.
dice. I love metal dice. That's my favorite thing. But more than that, I like big dice. I'm sorry, I said big dice. I meant big dice. I'm sorry, I said big dice. I mean big dice. I'm sorry, I said big dice. That's not big dice. I like big dice.
And you cannot lie.
Oh my gosh.
I like small dice and I only tell the truth.
Oh. So I have a question. How many of those dice have you rolled? Are those big ones rollable, or are those like
Those are actually
vessels?
dice
Oh, they're
containers.
vessels.
Those,
Okay.
those are all filled with dice, in case you were wondering if I have a problem.
We got to
If
do
you
that
want.
bathtub photo shoot. This is not safe for work. The bathtub photo shoot, which you in the bathtub surrounded by dice. I think that needs
Be
to
on
happen.
the lookout for the TableTakes host
the
calendar.
2024,
Go get the
2025
calendar
calendar.
going quickly.
Calendar.
A little too late for the 2024, but for the 2025, we're good.
We'll get it next
Yeah.
year for sure.
Yeah.
Next year, yeah.
I mean, but oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say what the problem is when you get a lot of dice, you got to start getting a lot of dice accessories like coasters that are built to hold dice, dice roll it like places to roll your dice. Don't buy my fake cop badge. Caskets to put dice that are dead to you.
Oh my gosh.
Treasure boxes to award the dice that do work with you.
No cages. No dice cages.
Oh, I actually have a dice cage. I just don't know where it is.
Uh,
Then you get your official dice bags. And then you gotta respect where you came from. You get your Crown Royal.
Yeah, there we go.
I've got a handmade dice bag that was made for me by a very lovely dear friend. Made me a illicit Mind Flyer dice bag
Aw.
for illicit activities.
That is a listed activity. Jesus, that is so cute. I love that. I now have like 3 different types of dice love. So I can either pick hard, big metal dice that I can use as a rolling thing for a game, or maybe a weapon if needed. I have beautiful stone dice from Anita and Bonsai's washable, machine washable, silicone die. This is cool. I have I didn't even know this many types of die existed.
Oh, there's more.
It's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah, when you start getting into dice, I'll just warn you, if you start getting into dice, you're slowly gonna tell yourself you could use one more set. You never
If
know.
you don't want your kids to spend their money on anything illegal, get them into either Magic the Gathering or dice.
Nice.
They'll have money for nothing else.
There's very pretty.
Ooh.
Anita, that one's gorgeous. What is
this
that?
one, this one's a resin one. I believe it's from Dispel Dice.
Yes, it is.
Because a lot of my higher end dice were purchased for me as gifts. Buy dice for
Aw.
the ones you love. They're better than flowers.
I feel disappointed in myself that I didn't have the wherewithal to purchase and acquire all of we had a Kickstarter last week on our crowdfunder court it was Gummy Quest delicious fantasy gummies.
Yeah.
A bunch of them were dice. I should have presented them and then just ate them all in front of you. Like, oh,
they
look,
don't
these are
crunch.
well, you don't have to. They don't have to crunch as long as they don't crunch my teeth.
What they try to tell
Thank
these
you.
people. They won't listen to me. They want to damage their teeth, and I don't understand why.
Noir, I'm here for you.
Finally, somebody's on the right side of history.
So Bonsai, what else you got about dice? I'm so curious.
Oh yeah, so I also really like collecting strange dice. So like you don't have to always be a polyhedral.
Ooh.
You can go with diamonds. You can go with circles or balls with weighted, like, ball ones, or you can go with like knobular ones,
That
or
looks like a
even
tooth.
ones. Yeah, there's some, like, originally I really do like kind of like bone dice, because dice, knuckle bones.
Mhm.
That's the origin of a lot of dice, is like
Yeah.
they're made from bones. I will say this is gonna be my one little rant, so forgive me. Wooden dice are terrible, okay? Wooden dice are terrible. They don't make, because the wood is not going to be balanced. There's all little grooves of wood, and also over time, it's going to get damaged. No matter how hard your wood is, it's gonna like get like soft and like rounded. Oh wait, I
Oh, I guess
realized. Okay, but
Don't worry about Noir. Noir is 12. It's fine.
So do all of do the wooden dice, are they finished in a way that like the body oils and the various things they'll be like you said, will that deteriorate them actually?
it's all wooden products. They just over time will deteriorate. There's no way to make it permanently good, like cutting boards and stuff. You need to always refinish it over time, and they'll become disbalanced. Like, the balance will go away. And also, wood, depending on where you cut it, will have different weight qualities, because when the clusters of wood are more together and more dense, they're heavier. So it could be a weighted dice as well, depending on the structure. All right, I know a lot about this.
So Bonsai, we learned about your hatred of wooden dice. Does
Yes.
anyone else have another type of dice they either are frustrated with? Doesn't have to have the same fervor or passion, but does anyone else have another dice that they don't particularly care for as their personal taste?
There's certain dice that have like textures that I don't necessarily like. I have a set of dice that are like very matte on them, and I'm not a fan of the texture of them, but they're
Oh,
beautiful.
Unpleasant tactile experience, but
These ones
beautiful.
are they're gorgeous. They're ice cream dice, and they're made to look like these ones are made to look like bubblegum flavored ice cream. But there's this very soft and matte, and I'm just not a fan of the texture of it. It's just kind of
Oh.
I hate dice that aren't big.
small dice, mini dice.
I can actually second on this, Noir. I think big dice might be the route I have to go, because a lot of the time for me, the small, like I actually can't. One of the things that I've had trouble with when I'm borrowing things when I'm playing games with other people is sometimes the dice is so small that I can't actually really read it. It's a little more difficult to read. And there's some really beautiful dice out there, but I think practically I would never buy them because I could not use them in a game. Just my personal self. I'm not going to say everyone else.
You see how much we were struggling to get the camera to read all those other dice. Listen, it's all the way back here. You can see the numbers. You look at that. You know what you're looking at. Big dice. But I'll tell you the second kind of dice I hate. And I hate it for reasons that people might call me a grognard or an old man. But when I was growing up, when I was playing Dungeons and Dragons, you stepped on a D4, you got stabbed. Nowadays, they want to make all these dice nice and rounded for the children. Keep it safe. No, let them bleed. Let the children. I want dice sharp. I want each edge to be able to slice a man in half.
You want to be able to, if we needed to, tie them to a string and shoot them like an arrow at someone in defense. They need to be that sharp. Okay.
What's going on with all this rounded dice? It's to the point where there are D4s where the top is at a point, it's flat. Who's flattening the D4s? Stop it. You let people bleed. That's how you know that they meant it when they cast magic missile.
That's how the miniature.
You ever squeeze a handful of D4s? It used to hurt. It used to mean something. Now all these soft kids. Look at this D6. You see how sharp those edges are? You could kill a man with this D6. That's what I'm talking about.
So I want to say, like, this is not I don't have a lot of dice. I only have a little bit that I need to use. So I have no real formulated opinion on this stuff. I love hearing all the things you guys have to say, but I hate D4s. I don't like looking at them. I don't like rolling them. They confuse me and they stress me out. That is my only take on D4s, but it's entirely personal and subjective to my weird brain.
I feel that. Look at this. Look, I can't. First off, it's a small dice. You know how I feel about those. But also, the tip, the tip is
Rounded.
it's flattened. Who did that? Who
Oh,
did that and why?
oh, you could really see that's really flat.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
Oh.
about. There's a number of dice that are like this. It needs to stop. Let the children bleed.
Sharpen our dice.
I got the
Sharpen your
same
dice.
sort of set too, with that flattened top and the metal
Oh,
die.
interesting.
Ah.
Does it affect the rolling at all?
No.
Disappointed, no.
I
No,
wish
it
it
just-
did.
Makes it so when you stick your hand in the bag, it doesn't go. Ah.
Look, I almost stabbed myself on this D10 or D8 or what. No, it's a D10. Look at that. That's how it's supposed to be. That is dangerous. All right. I picked it up and went, ow. And then I was like, dang, that's right. That's right.
These
You said
soft-
Al, then said thank you immediately after.
Ow. Another, please.
We're learning things about Noir today. on
Well,
this
I'm learning a
episode.
lot about Noir. I'm learning a lot about dice. Bonsai, anything else you want to share with us?
Oh, no, that was just like a little rant to kind of get what everybody's flavor is,
Yeah.
and just see, and just see if anybody else in like the comment section wanted to talk about, because dice, I mean, it's like liking, what is your like favorite soda? People have
Dr.
discussions about
Pepper.
it.
There's
Yeah.
a right answer, and it's Dr. Pepper.
Correct.
All 23 flavors of my heart agree.
Oh, I'm sorry, what? I'm drinking.
Well,
the,
first off, is that Diet A&W? Because I'll
No,
fly
no.
over to Seattle and fight you right now.
It's not, don't worry,
Yes,
it's not
it is
Diet
Diet.
AW, it's
Fight me.
it's zero sugar
sugar-free,
AW,
sugar-free.
which is different than Diet, which is different than Diet, by the way.
Xanthan gum. Take it. You can't You can't dissolve these sugars in your body. Human body doesn't accept them.
Speaking of a human body not accepting things, this is no transition. There's no transition here. What I want to say is that there's going to be, if you love dice and want to hear more about dice, Gen Con 2024 is coming up, and there is always the most wonderfully large selection of dice. I don't get to hit the floor as
Oh
much
my
because I'm usually
God,
pretty busy,
yes.
but when I go down, I always walk by and like ogle the dice as much as I can. So if you want to check out some of the coolest dice and you're going to be in Indianapolis this year, check it out at Gen Con 2024. Bonsai, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. This rules. I love this. I love these little talking points. I love getting to know more about each of you and how like the things that are not just like your personal taste on gaming, but your taste on the accessories and the things that go around gaming. Because that's something
Yeah.
I haven't had a lot of. I've pretty much just played and then left that part of myself away. So hearing this from you guys rules. But that is it for headlines. We are about to hit court time in Crowdfunder Court.
Oh.
Yeah. Welcome to Crowdfunder Court. Here come the judges. Prepare to be judged. All right, court is now in session. And we are in the courtroom. The mahogany benches are there. There's other things and people. We really kind of lost this court metaphor, but it doesn't really matter. Bonsai, what do you have to present for us of all the amazing crowdfunders that are out there at this time?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Guess what? It's dice.
More dice!
There's more dice. So just talk about dice. So this is coming here. This has come from Kickstarter, fine-tuned dice set, optimized numbering, and new hex D4. So this has been, you can go ahead and go to their Kickstarter. This is mathematically balanced numbering and new D4 D-shaped dice, sharp edge. So if you want those sharp edges, sharp edge resin or semi-precious stone, elegant cases. And it's just, these dice are really, really pretty, and they're made for those who want to be like, I'll go ahead and use this quote, accuracy nerds who are only about getting math rocks that are very, 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 very math rocky. So if you're kind of the person who likes game science, dice that reshare, like the dice and reshares videos of Louis, sorry if I get this name wrong, Zawadzki, this is the dice for you. It is just a really Not only are these sharp edge resin dice instead of, like, of course, the tumbled plastic ones, but the folks at Flying Horse Duck have supposedly been using a lot of math and computer generated programs to help them make the most mathematically dice balanced ever. They rearrange the numbers. So, for example, the 6 will not be near the 9, so it avoids some of those confusions. And it won't be set up like the D20 plus 1 system that a lot of people use. So, like, if you on every side it should equal 21. Now it's like mathematically you can put it. They have graphs. You just have to look at the graphs. It's very hard for me to tell you, but it's just math. That is my take. I am probably going to get a set. I'm debating whether or not to buy 2 sets, one for me and one for my husband. But yes. So fine-tune dice sets.
I love that a lot of this stream has been Bonsai just moving her hands at us and saying math, math, math. Like I said, that would have been like 16 me's like biggest fear. This is really, really cool. It was funded in 1 hour, so it's making its money, which is great. I had recently just complained about D4s, and these D4s look awesome. I want to hold them in my hands, and I want to have all of the gem rolls I need. This is really cool.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, Bonsai. I think that is a great spotlight to shine on a really cool product. Next up, Anita, you got something for us, don't you?
Yes, we've got AR Vault, Heroes and Companions. This is by Awakened Realms. They're launching a new adventure with AR Vault, Heroes and Companions. Dive into the world of enhanced gameplay with unique AR board games and dice for Aetherfields, Nemesis, Tainted Grail, and ISS Vanguard. These are designed for storytelling and gameplay, and the set comes with 20 detailed models of popular races and classes, adorable allies, and 28 magical figurines for gameplay as well. These are highly detailed, beautiful miniatures that you can incorporate into the games that they've mentioned here, or into your own campaigns if you want something for a little bit of extra flair. They've got 20 unique hero miniatures, 10 companion miniatures, 4 resin story dice sets, 5 resin AR dice expansions, and 28 terrain pieces. Each of them are all unique and handcrafted. It is currently 12 days left in the Kickstarter with it's fully funded. In fact, they reached their goal in 19 minutes and 36 seconds. So if you want to be one of the one of the folks that back this as well, by all means, I would highly recommend it. There's some really cool looking art in here as well. Just like probably one of the most evocative looking Kickstarter campaign pages that I've seen in a while. They've got some cool cosplay elements to it. I recommend, at the very least, just checking out the Kickstarter and seeing if it sounds like something that you're interested in.
Awesome. Thank you, Renita. That's really cool. I'm glad that you shared this out too, because it's really hard to make a crowdfunding campaign. It's really hard to design it and make it look good and cohesive. But this particular page, we all took a second across the virtual desks here and we're like, damn, this looks good. Like you mentioned, including the cosplayers into it, playing the game, showing off some of the stuff. It looks fantastic. It looks cohesive. We don't always just talk about how nice the Kickstarters look or the crowdfunders look, which I'm happy to do this time.
I love good art direction as a graphic designer. It warms the cockles of my heart.
Well, thank you so much, Anita. That's wonderful. That is it for Crowdfunder Court today. Everyone, thank you so much for bringing these awesome spotlights to these really cool products. But unfortunately, that is it for TableTakes today. But do not get too worried. We have a whole bunch of content here, as Bonsai says, a slew of content on Gen Con TV all week long. So let's talk about that. All times are Pacific. Every Monday, we have Peter versus the Machine at 9 a.m. That's our founder, Peter Atkinson, playing war games like Civ and trying to beat the machine, which is the computer. Next up, we have Dress to Quest at 6 p.m. on Monday. Then Tuesday, it's Vampire the Masquerade with Indie by Night at 7 p.m. Wednesdays, we have Miniature Painting with Path of the Brush at 4 p.m. Then Actor Roki, which is we have a lot of different things going on there. So you should check that out. We had a movie night last week, which is excellent. Then Thursday morning, we have 11 a.m. We have Blood on the Clock Tower, a social deduction game. And then join us again at 5 p.m. for some Shadowrun with the great folks of Roll with Rem Alternus. Then Friday, join us right back here at 2 p.m. Pacific for TableTakes. And as we usually do have, Sarah's Table. Today, there will be no Sarah's Tables episode, but we'll be back next week with a really interesting episode. I believe Strange Hollows returning. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you so much to our wonderful hosts, Bonsai Baby, Anita, Noir, Enigma. Thank you all for joining. These are wonderful people. If you are not following them on the various socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it's called, do it right now. Please do it. They are awesome across the board. I vouch for these people with my life. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us at chat. And remember to follow Gen Con TV for more of the best 4 days in gaming all year long at twitch.tv/GenCon TV. See you next week.